what's up, folks? This is Brian with the CV Insight Show. Got another good one today. Today's topic is called, what are you doing with your time? Your time. That's one of the most important things along any journey. How you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with, but more importantly, what are you doing? It's not about who you're spending your time with. We all spend time with people and whatnot, but during your times when you're by yourself, whether it's commuting a car, you're sitting at home, or you're in the office at work, what are you doing with that time? Because it could be manipulated for productive benefit. For instance, my day today started and I ran some errands and I felt the moment that I wanted to record a podcast. So I pulled over, jotted down some notes about the topic that I wanted to do, which is the topic of what are you doing with your time? And I got started, so I'm here. So I decided to be productive in the moment of the time that I could be creative. So that's a real big thing as far as an entrepreneurial journey. Sometimes you have to do it right then and there. And there's ways to do it to be productive. There's several apps on your phone. There's several different ways to do whatever it is that you need to do in your journey, or at that time, to further yourself. This isn't like the old days where, you had to have this grand setup or to even find the information, you had to find encyclopedias. Right now, if you wanted to find out some information that you needed in the moment, you can do it just like that. So that's the main difference in what we can do with our time. So to get started, I wanted to speak to the person that's in a cubicle, or they're at a job right now where they're doing something, where you're doing something, whatever your job is, and you have this time that you could do something else instead of listening to music, Spotify, Pandora, anything like that, or watching YouTube videos, or the biggie, which is being on social media aimlessly. I get it. Sometimes we need to be on social media to keep up with certain stuff and whatnot, but for the majority of people, you're spending that time on Facebook being nosy, and that's not going to get you where you need to go. So we all start somewhere, and wherever somewhere is for you, there's a very good chance that you could be using that time to put productive things in your brain through your eyes or your ears. Now, that's a scientific way of saying it, but not scientific, but that's a lame way of saying it, in my opinion. But what I mean is, you can use that time better that you have, instead of doing bullshit. So, I don't know if you ever heard of garbage in, garbage out. That's one of the most purest statements that I've ever heard, because once I realized that I was putting garbage in my head, I wasn't gonna benefit from what I was listening to. For instance, if I'm listening to rap or to music all day, I'm gonna start to feel like that. I'm not gonna be thinking about, chances are I won't be as productive and actually take away a lesson excuse me. I'm not saying you can't learn lessons from music. Let me get that clear. I'm saying typically when you're listening to music, you won't be doing anything that's going to get you further productively. So if right now, if you needed to find out information about XYZ, if you're at work, you're listening to music and stuff, or watching YouTube videos or scrolling on social media, those three things are not gonna get you XYZ information. Typically. I'm not saying everybody, but typically it's not gonna get you to that point. So garbage in, garbage out. If you're listening to crap all day, you're gonna put out crap. You're not gonna be doing that XYZ thing that you need to do. And even like your downtime or your commute, those two instances, you have a real good chance at putting in productive listening. For me, I listen to audiobooks and podcasts a lot. More than, of course, the majority of my time, that's what I listen to. And to be, to put it in a percentage wise, certain days I listen to 100% books and audiobooks, but typically, if I'm listening to something, it's going to be about 70% productive, and the rest of that is just entertainment. I'm not going to let myself become lame and always be thinking about books and audio books and podcasts. I don't want to become that guy, but there's a high percentage of the time that I'm listening to books and audiobooks along my commutes to somewhere, or in my downtime. And my downtime is even like when I'm cleaning or something like that. I'll listen to Gary Vee or John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire. I have a bunch of different podcasts that I listen to. And it's easy to find podcast managers or apps on your phone that house all of the podcasts. So I'm not here to teach you about that. I'm sure if you're listening to me, you know how to find podcasts. But the problem is you might not be listening to it. So find a podcast app and listen to those apps. Listen to those podcasts on your commutes to and from places, on your downtime when you're chilling or you're working in the house, or even like for me, sometimes I'm playing Madden and I listen to a podcast. I can hear the game a little bit, but I'm listening to a podcast because I'm taking in good stuff while I'm having fun. That's like one of my sweet spots. Like around 2 p.m. in the middle of the day, a lot of times I play Madden around 2 o'clock. So if anybody wants to get it, side note, if anybody wants to get it on PS4, hit me up. I think my PS4 name is just Brian Sutton. Oh man, I'm gonna put it in the show notes. I can't remember my PS4 screen name right now, but 2 o'clock, let me know. I will give you the business on Madden. I'm a beast. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Make sure you're putting in good listening and visuals to your brain throughout many different times of the day, because any journey, it starts out, especially your entrepreneurial journey, it starts out with educating yourself. It's not all about, I have a master's, but along the way of getting that master's, and I'm obtaining my MBA, by the way, but along the way, I learned that it's not about what books they're giving me or anything like that. It's more about what am I teaching myself as well. Of course, I'm learning the structural way that they're getting me to learn, but I spend a lot of time teaching myself extra stuff that is directly related to being an entrepreneur and my many different facets of being an entrepreneur. So I'm learning about marketing, I'm learning about lawn care, I'm learning about art. I'm constantly teaching myself about that. Anything you do on this journey or on your journey starts with educating yourself. It's not, and I'm not speaking just to entrepreneurs, I'm speaking to anybody that's on the journey for something. Anything you're doing, it begins with educating yourself. It's not about the accolades. It's not about who you're around. It's partly around who you're around too, but a major part is educating yourself to get you to the point where you can physically be doing these things. Put it in your mind, and your body's gonna follow. I don't know, I just kind of made that up right there, but it sounds pretty significant. But anyway, while you're doing these things where you're putting productive stuff in your head, be sure to take notes. I have binders full of notes of topics of things that I've conditioned myself to constantly take notes on, whether it's video or audio. I started out sometimes I take physical notes, but that's more when I'm at a desk or something like that. I'll write out everything. But I've kind of transitioned to taking a lot of my notes in my phone. So I use Google Keep. I have a bunch of different I don't know what to call them. We'll just call them note sheets within the app. But Google Keep is basically a place where you can put all your different notes, and it's a pretty good organized way of doing it. But I take several different kind of notes there. So the reason why you want to take notes constantly is because if you're listening to this good stuff, it's going to go in your head. But a good chance is you're gonna forget it. You're going to forget it. You're gonna, as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna go to something else. Next thing you know, you were learning about how to build something or whatever it is that you're trying to do. I can't think of a good example, but you were learning how to do something, but as soon as you get on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and start talking to people later on in your day, you're gonna forget it. So that kind of ruins, it's counterintuitive to what you're trying to do, which is put good in your head and keep it there. And you always want to have a way to reference what you learn. Because like I said, you will forget it. Especially me. If you got a mind like me and you're kind of rolling all the time, I will forget something 2 minutes after I walk away. So I've learned to always put notes down so that I can always refer to it whenever I'm thinking, what the hell was that album? Blah, blah, blah. What the hell was I thinking? Whatever. And go back to it. Boom. And then you'll see a big difference in what kind of power you can put into your head by listening and then by note taking. And then it goes after, that so far what I've been talking about has mainly been the mental, but also remember physically, what are you doing with your time? And by physically, what I mean is whenever you get a chance, like I said, if you're at work, if you're at home on your chill time, if you're Saturday, whatever, though, anytime that you're not forced to be 100% focused on something else, there's a percentage that you of yourself and your time that you can delegate to being productive mentally and physically. So physically, what are you doing when you get home from work? What are you doing when it's Saturday? A lot of people are chilling, whatever you like to do on Saturdays, or any given time that you're not 100% dedicated and you can't do something else. What are you doing? Are you putting the time into practicing what your craft is, or got a phone call coming in. Sorry, I got a phone call coming in my phone here. But anyway, what are you doing to physically get towards your goal? Are you spending your time practicing your craft or practicing whatever it is that you have to do? Say you're building something, are you putting in the practice times of building those initial projects to work out the kinks and stuff like that? What are you doing? Are you, and the reason why I'm focusing on the question of what are you doing is because take everything into consideration of what I said. It's about your choices. So what are you doing? Are you choosing not to focus on your craft or what you have to focus on your journey? Are you choosing that, or are you falling just like everybody else into the lame game of just doing nothing, just existing, just not fighting for striving for something, but just existing, just going about your day. Here's another side note. Maintaining. I don't even say that no more. You know how you say something to somebody or say what's up to somebody, and they're like, well, this is more of a guy thing. A lot of times we say stuff like, ain't nothing maintaining. When you say that right there, that's all you doing is maintaining. That's all you think. Is like you condition your brain to say, I ain't really doing nothing. That's what that means. I ain't really doing nothing. Just doing just enough to get by. Can't be like that. The point is, you have to go extra hard. Put the sauce on it every day. You have to do more because you don't have the opportunity to be where I'm at exactly. I slack off, but it's not as noticeable because I have my full day to do those things. So if I slack off for 3 hours, I can pick it right back up. I didn't have to go to work. So, you know, I can plan my day around. And I'm not saying it as a bragging point, I'm just saying it as a real point. A real point of what's actually happened. So now I own my time. So if I slack off, I can definitely make it up. I have 24 hours a day, just like you. But the difference is I own that whole 24 hours. If I don't even want to sleep, I won't sleep. I go hard. But that's the main difference is choices. What are you doing? What are you choosing to do when you have a chance? Are you choosing to put garbage in your head, or are you choosing to take mental or physical steps towards your goals? So that's it in a nutshell for what I have today about what are you doing with your time. I hope you got something good from that. And until next time, you've been rocking with Brian, and this is the CV Insight Show. Catch y'all later on.
Turn your shit out.